Hello everyone! I was able to get my hands on an updated offering from Head, the Head Graphene Touch Extreme Mid Plus. I took it out for a couple weeks on a play test. I do a side-by-side comparison with the Head Graphene XT Extreme, the Extreme Pro. Let's see what I thought. Head has made a number of updates to the Extreme line this year. First off is the head shape. It's more elongated versus the circular version of the previous versions. The other change is the grommet system. They've inserted their 360-degree spin grommets, which is supposed to give you more spin, but they've also made a change in the string spacing from the grommet system. So there's more space in between the strings, particularly in the center of the racket, supposedly to give you more spin versus the previous version where it's a little bit more closed. As it relates to ground strokes, I'm going to talk about two things as it relates to ground strokes: control and spin. From a control perspective, I thought this racket was average. You've got to really be conscious to brush up on the ball and put that spin on it to control it. If you try to flatten it out, again, you've just got to be conscious that if you try to flatten this out and swing it for the fences, it's going to hit the fence. So I struggled a little bit flatten out this racket, flatten out the ball with this racket. So I had to really put a lot of spin. Now on the spin side, I would say the spin on this frame is really good. I don't play with a lot of heavy top spin, so it's probably not a racket that is really suited for me from that perspective, but it's definitely a racket that you could put a lot of spin on it. So from a ground stroke perspective, you really need to brush up on the ball to control it. You know, certainly you can get a lot of power with it and so forth, but if you're somebody that likes to hit with a lot of top spin, likes to dictate play, hit the angles and so forth, this may be a good racket for you to try. At net, I thought the frame was very good at net. Had a lot of touch, a lot of feel. I could control my volleys. I like the easy power at net, which is why I like the XT Extreme Pro too as well. It also has easy power at net. I just like being able to control my volleys and hit those volleys deep and put those volleys away. So at net, I thought this racket was pretty good at net as well. From a comfort perspective, never really had an issue with this frame. Now, yes, it's strung with a pretty soft string, but I've never really had an issue with any of the Extreme versions from a comfort perspective. Whatever technology or the grommets that they use in that, even though they're high stiffness rating rackets, never really had a comfort issue with any of them. As it relates to maneuverability, this racket was okay. It's like I mentioned earlier, it's about even or even maybe 1 point head heavy. So certainly on my one-hand backhand topspin, I had to really make sure I got the racket through the ball and put a lot of racket head speed on it. So maneuverability was somewhat of an issue for me, and certainly as I got tired doing points or doing a long match, I struggled getting a lot of spin or getting that racket head speed on it so I could brush up on the ball and get that spin on it. You're going to really need to put spin on it to control it, so I would probably have to weight this more in the handle and try to get a little bit more maneuverability from it versus. So let's compare this frame for a little bit with the Head XT Extreme Pro. That's a racket I have a lot of experience with. Overall, I like the previous version better than this frame. As it relates to control, I'd give the XT Extreme Pro higher marks in control. I'd give this racket here, the Graphene Touch Extreme Mid Plus, I'd give it a higher spin rating than I would the XT Extreme Pro. Comfort-wise, they're probably about even. I'd probably give the nod to the XT Extreme Pro just because it's got a little bit more weight and it absorbs the vibrations a little bit better. From a serve perspective, like this frame better than the XT Extreme Pro. As it relates to touch and feel, again, I'd give the XT Extreme Pro higher mark than this one. I felt like it's just got a little bit more touch, a little bit more feel. Again, I like weight. I like higher weighted rackets, so that may be influencing my decision there. But from a touch feel perspective, I like that racket a little bit better than this one. Power-wise, absolutely this racket. This racket definitely has more power than the XT Extreme Pro. As far as does it replace the Extreme Pro, I don't think so. I think they should do a Pro version in this racket. I'd like to see them do a Pro version in this racket, particularly with this head size, and the head shape, excuse me. The head shape, in my opinion, I felt like the sweet spot was a little bit bigger, and this could be the spacing and the strings, but I did feel like it had a little bit of a better sweet spot, and I also felt like I got a little bit more spin out of the frame. If you're a fan of the previous Mid Plus versions, definitely give this one a try. I think the changes that Head has made are good changes. I think that's for the better overall. So Head, if you're listening, let's make a Pro version. Let's make it a little bit more headlight than this one is. Don't change anything else. I'd love to try this in a Pro version.